Good evening. We're coming to you with live coverage of the New Hampshire primary elections. Now, let me update this headline here. There we go. We're coming to you live with coverage of the New Hampshire primary elections. Now, the polls do not close in New Hampshire start closing in New Hampshire until 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we've got a few hours before the final results start to come in. But as of right now, 1% of delegates are reporting, and we're showing frontrunner in New Hampshire, Bernie Sanders, in second place currently. We're finding traffic jams, all kinds of good stuff when it comes to the voting polls right now in New Hampshire. CNN is reporting that so far 2,400 registered voters have turned out to the polls. This is about 47% of all registered Democrats in the area. Now, here's something interesting. In New Hampshire, independents are allowed to vote in the Democratic primaries. So it could be interesting to see what the results are tonight, because it's not just going to be Democrats voting tonight. If we look here at CNN, we can take a quick look at what's going on right now. They've talked to some supporters that are going to be voting for Sanders, as well as Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden. Now, these are pretty much your three front runners in the New Hampshire primaries right now. According to recent polls, it's Sanders, Warren, and Biden. Sanders supporters cited his authority and his consistent message, and several who worked in the healthcare, doctors, residents, a registered nurse, and a pharmacist liked his Medicare for All plan. This has been a very big deal for the Sanders campaign. This is pretty much what's put him in the lead recently, is the fact that people's inability to get health care, if he is elected, it would pretty much guarantee them coverage. Now, I'm lucky enough to live here in the state of Washington, where pretty much the majority of people are covered by health care, whether it be through an employer or through Medicaid, which is Obamacare now. And then we've got, meanwhile, every single Elizabeth Warren voter that CNN talked to was a woman. So it looks like Warren is definitely doing good with the females right now in New Hampshire. And of course, the Biden supporters are voting for him because of the Obama administration, and they feel that they know him. So a little bit of familiarity there. And we come here. This is pretty much currently the delegates that are in right now. Like I said, there's only 1% of delegates reporting. And there's a total of 24 delegates available. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out tonight for sure. And I cannot rebroadcast, but CNN has a live feed in Concord, New Hampshire of basically a voter booth, so you can watch the voter turnout yourself. If you go to cnn.com/special/live-video-1, there's a live feed of the voter turnout in Concord, New Hampshire. But again, I cannot show that on my stream. That is CNN's own personal content, and obviously it's copyrighted because it's CNN. But again, CNN has only talked to 90 total voters, so I don't know how much you can depend on what they're posting as far as opinions as a whole broader sense of the New Hampshire area. Like I said, only 90 voters in the whole state. Let's see what's going on Twitter. And we'll do New Hampshire. And the latest results from Hertz location RN is alone in third place. Andrew Yang is alone in third place with 70% of the votes. So that's interesting. A little bit of preliminary results there. And of course, Donald Trump is pretty much running uncontested on the Republican side. So we know most delegates are going to go to Trump that are from Republican voters tonight. Here we go, breaking news. Breaking news, everybody. Joe Biden has canceled his New Hampshire primary party appearance as planned. So Joe Biden will not be appearing in the primary party tonight. He will not be appearing. Which I'm assuming kind of points to he doesn't expect a very high voter turnout for him in New Hampshire. And of course, all the polls would kind of back that up. Bernie Sanders drew a record turnout at his rally tonight in New Hampshire with over 6,700 proud supporters. So Bernie's definitely picking up some momentum tonight in New Hampshire. Definitely a lot of momentum in the Bernie camp tonight. Let's go ahead and retweet that. And again, this is back in 2000 when McCain was running for president. Kind of a throwback. here were kind of some pop-up rallies last night in New Hampshire for the different candidates. As you can see, pretty big turnouts there. Well, not so much for Biden. Again, look at that massive turnout for Bernie. I'm scanning the headlines, seeing any new news that might be popping up. Again, CNN has a live feed going of one of the voting polls in Concord, New Hampshire. And if you go to CNN's live video, you can watch the feed yourself. So far, it's a pretty consistent but slow turnout. I'll try to see if there's any video feeds available from C-SPAN, because I can rebroadcast some stuff from C-SPAN depending upon what it is. So let's see if we can find any live video feeds available from C-SPAN right now. And there should be tonight. You would think, anyway. Right now, again, only 1% of delegates have been counted, and there's no conclusive evidence yet as to who's going to win, obviously, with only 1% of the delegates, and there being 24 total delegates available tonight. And the show The Connors will perform live around tonight's election results. So if any of you are a fan of the show The Connors, they're going to perform a live episode tonight around the election results. So that's definitely going to be interesting. I think this is the first time that a network program has done something like this before. I'm going to retweet that real quick. Okay, so we got that retweeted. Now, as I said before, I am just looking to see if there's anything we can rebroadcast from C-SPAN tonight. And it looks like about 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, C-SPAN will be broadcasting coverage of this. And so we will probably have a live video feed of that in our feed. I'm probably going to put it up to where our webcam is right now. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So instead of, on some shots, having me in the corner, you're going to have the video feed of the C-SPAN coverage tonight. I won't be bringing you the audio, but we will have the video playing. And right now, as far as all the predictions that I can find, everybody's either predicting that Warren is actually going to take New Hampshire or Bernie. Now, I have no opinion one way or the other as to who's going to win this, because the polls recently haven't shown to be very effective as predicting who the winners are going to be, so I think it's anybody's race at this point. I don't see Elizabeth Warren getting the nomination, but that's just my personal opinion. But you never know. Anything can happen. Right now, we don't have any clear winner. Google. At the top of the hour, I believe we're going to have some more election results in. But as of right now, we have no clear and decisive answer as to who's in the lead. It's just too close to call right now. And the first polls in New Hampshire will close in approximately 3 hours and 10 minutes. And again, if you like this stream, please like and share it. Our chat, for the most part, is unmoderated here, so you're free to say whatever you want to. Obviously, no hate speech. But other than that, it's pretty much open. You can discuss or say anything you want to, whether it's on topic, off topic, it doesn't matter. And Politico is predicting that it's going to be a Sanders win. But again, I don't know where Politico is getting their information or they're polling from, or how many people were polled. But Politico is going to be calling it for Bernie. They think Bernie's the front runner in this. And I think that New Hampshire has the highest number of delegates of any state in the primary elections, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Let me see. Of delegates. I'm not getting any concise results as to what state has the most delegates. Isn't that interesting? Do they all have the same amount of delegates? I wouldn't think so. Okay, so the 6 states that have the most delegates are California, Texas, New York, Florida, and Illinois, and Pennsylvania. So no, it does not have the highest number of delegates. It's actually not even in the top 5. Right now we are just waiting for results to start coming in. We're at about 1%, and I'm not going to be calling it towards anybody at 1% of 24 delegates because it's completely open right now. Politico is predicting a win for Bernie on this. And CNN has Elizabeth Warren, Bernie, and Biden in the front seat. So, as we've seen from the past primary elections, it's really open to anybody. Now, NPR is reporting half of the people that they polled have just made up their minds of who they're going to vote for in the last 48 hours. And there's 36% of voters that are still undecided heading to the poll. So with 36% of voters undecided, it's kind of open to anybody. That's a pretty big margin right there. And right now, WMUR 9 has predicted that 420,000 voter turnout from the primary elections in New Hampshire are expected. Looks like we're getting a new update from CNN. Alright, how many of the votes are in right now? Right now we're showing here are the results from CNN currently. Currently, those are the results from CNN. And CNN has got a pretty good... Here we go. Now we can actually see a breakdown of district by district, who's winning. Looks like Biden is really lagging in this election right now. And again, we are about 30 minutes away from live coverage feed from C-SPAN being added to our stream. But right now it shows in Adams County, Biden is the front runner. And that's one of the bigger counties in New Hampshire right now. And Blackhawk County, it's showing Sanders in the lead. And in pretty much all of these, Warren is down at the bottom. Elizabeth Warren is not doing very good tonight at all. And Google is not updating their election results right now. So if you want a reliable source to current election results, you're going to want to head to, so far the best one that I found is on CNN.com. So they're still being very slow to update the results. Let's go over some of the predictions as to who's going to win again. Let's see if there's any new predictions from anybody out there yet. Ben White's New Hampshire primary predictions. Ben White is a pretty popular political analysis person. He doesn't really have any bias one way or another. He just kind of analyzes popular trends, and he determines who he thinks is going to win the elections based off of his numbers. And he's thinking it's going to be pretty close between Sanders and some other contenders, but he's putting Sanders up there at the top, so. Do you think Andrew Yang will drop out of New Hampshire primary results come in if he's not looking good for him? I think that there's a good chance that he might drop out after tonight's results if he's not, like I say, in the top 3. And right now, I don't know where he's going to place at because he's not in the top 5 runners right now, but it's so early in the night's results. It's open for anybody at this point. But I definitely think something needs to happen, because the Democratic Party is not looking good right now as a whole. It's not unified at all. It's kind of in every direction right now. So I think it would be a good thing for the overall Democratic Party if he dropped out. And I think we need some of the other contenders to drop out too if people want the Democratic Party to succeed. And CNN's reporting 30% of voters say it'll be harder for a woman to beat Trump, exit poll says. So that's interesting. I don't know how it would be any harder for a woman to beat Trump than it would be a man. I actually think she would have an advantage to some extent. Who would I say I plan on voting for this November? Um, Completely honest, my own personal vote. I'm not trying to influence anybody else's vote or opinions in any way, shape, or form. But personally, regardless of the polls, or regardless of who's leading, who's lagging behind, my vote's probably going to go for Sanders just because I feel that he is the person most likely to guide the country in the direction it needs to go right now. That is my own personal opinion. That shouldn't reflect anybody else's vote or opinions. Do your own research, decide which candidate you like, and vote for that person. But yes, my vote will be going to Bernie Sanders. Voter turnout is definitely picking up in New Hampshire right now. CNN has a live feed of some of the polls on their site. So if you go to cnn.com and you click on live, you can watch some of the voting actually happening in New Hampshire right now. It's a pretty steady and consistent pace. I definitely think we're going to have a large voter turnout tonight. Which is a good thing for democracy no matter who wins. No matter who you're going to vote for, no matter what political party you're affiliated with, go out there and vote. It is so important that every American go out there and vote. So again, only 1% of precincts are reporting right now. Only 1% of the total vote count has been counted. But we still have approximately 2 hours and 55 minutes before the majority of the polls start to close in New Hampshire. And really, my prediction for tonight's outcome, I believe Elizabeth Warren, although not my candidate, obviously, has a pretty good front runner shot tonight. I think she will place in the top three. I know a little bit earlier in some parts of New Hampshire, they were actually having traffic jams as people were trying to get to the voting polls. So I wonder if that's going to influence tonight's elections at all. I wonder if there's going to be anybody tonight that's not going to be able to make it to the polls because of all the backup in the traffic. Because it was pretty bad. Again, here's one of the rallies last night that was held in New Hampshire. And this was just a pop-up rally. This wasn't anything that was really planned. It was completely out of the blue. Which kind of goes to show how enthusiastic all the voters in New Hampshire are this election. Hey Martin D, thank you for watching the stream. Greetings from Germany. I should go to bed, though I am quite excited for the results. The world needs a Sanders presidency, although he should... Yeah, I agree with the foreign policy. It's definitely not one of his highest strengths right now. I don't think that any of the candidates really have a high strength in their foreign policy at this point. But as far as domestic leadership and guidance, I really think Sanders is where it needs to be at this year. But again, those are just my own opinions. They shouldn't affect your voting or anything. Do your own research. Vote for the candidate you like the views of. It's kind of interesting. Both Sanders and Warren are seeing themselves as fixers of the current president's policies. Yeah, I'll leave that one alone. But both see themselves as fixers. And again, tonight we are so far showing Warren right behind Sanders. And Sanders is one of the front runners, so I think she has a good possibility of actually pulling off a win tonight. I'm trying to see if I can find you guys anything on the traffic jams that they were experiencing in New Hampshire. But I need to find a video that's not copyrighted from any major news organization. So let's... But again, if you search and you look for the traffic problems that they've been having in New Hampshire, you can find it on Twitter or on Facebook or on YouTube for that matter. But most of the videos that I'm finding are from major news outlets, and I cannot share those on my stream. We're not really noticing anything new as of yet. Again, we're still waiting for some of the polls to close and some more numbers to come in at the moment. It's a little early on tonight and things are kind of slow. Alright, Martin D, good night. Hope you have a good one, and welcome to the stream. If you like the broadcast, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. So right now, Biden is saying that he's going to have the model of the former Clinton administration. Now, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. I'm definitely not really sure the Clinton dynasty or the Clinton way of thinking is the way our country needs to proceed right now. I think an announcement like that or a statement like that is really going to help hurt his campaign for presidency. So, with not much new news coming out, I think I'm going to wrap up this live stream and come back in about an hour and a half to 2 hours when some of the polls start to close and start doing some more reporting on the results then. There's just not really a whole lot of news and information at this point right now, but I will definitely be back on the air tonight covering this some more. So I'm going to end this stream right now and wrap it up. Alright. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.